from the 10th Avenue Extension, Greater Estate, and Nungwa Adogono. This is the MBN TV. Coming to you live on our social media handle, YouTube, X, Facebook, on MBN 360. This is Mega News at 6. But first, the headlines.
Korle Bu Allied Health Professionals call off strike. In business, Africa must settle trade in local currencies. Second Deputy Bank of Ghana Governor. And on the international front, man sentenced to life in prison for 2024 attempts on Trump's life.
My name is El Samuel. The details of the stories. The allied health professionals at the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital have called off their planned strike following assurance from management to address their needs.
The group had threatened industrial action over management's failure to establish an allied health services directorate and appoint key leadership for the hospital's laboratory services. Speaking to the media, General Secretary of the Medical Laboratory Professional Workers Union, Dr. Cephas Kofi Akoto, confirmed that the decision to suspend the strike was based on commitments made by hospital management. He explained that management had demonstrated goodwill by agreeing to take immediate steps to address the union's issues.
We agreed that we'll give ourselves about 1 month duration. Even though we do not have control over the processes at the Public Services Commission, we will work together with management, follow up, coordinate, and the unions are going to police this process to make sure that we get to a successful end. Brothers, I think there's nothing more we can ask. All we want is to have good governance, to have right representation at the table where decisions are made, so that over 22 professions will not be missing from the decision-making table. And when things go wrong, that is only when the professionals are accused. We believe the good faith shown by management and leadership is enough for us to, at this point, call the action to a suspension.
The Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, has called for greater unity among African countries to strengthen integration whilst driving shared prosperity and economic growth across the continent.
Speaking at the Africa Prosperity Dialogues on Wednesday, February 4, Professor Opoku-Agyeman urged governments across the board to develop long-term and medium-term policies, build strong development finance institutions, and implement regional projects that reflect the scale of collective continental ambitions. According to her, a unified Africa would enable entrepreneurs and manufacturers to view the continent not as a series of fragmented markets, but as one connected economy with vast opportunities. Professor Opoku-Agyeman urged African policymakers and business leaders to prioritize initiatives that strengthen cross-border collaboration and regional economic integration. We must continue to integrate our borders. Africa must unite. This is not about erasing sovereignty. It is about organizing our sovereignty in service of shared prosperity and our market, Ghana's Vice President explained.
12 people are critically injured and have been rushed to the Winneba Specialist Hospital for treatment following an accident involving a Toyota Vox and Nissan Ultimax and a Hyundai Elantra at the Goma and Manfi on the Winneba Mankasim stretch of the N1 highway.
City News has gathered that the Toyota Voxy with registration number GN9883 2025 collided head-on with a Nissan Altima, also bearing the registration number GW189509, after a wrongful overtaking by the Voxy driver. Following the collision, the Hyundai Elantra with a registration GR1972 2015 also ran into the rear of the Toyota Voxy vehicle. All 7 passengers on board the Voxy and the driver suffered life-threatening injuries. 4 occupants of the Nissan Altima also suffered varied injuries as a result of the wreckage. All 12 passengers have been rushed to the Trauma and Specialist Hospital in Winneba by personnel of the Ghana National Fire Service at APAM, who responded swiftly to the incident.
From the business desk at the second deputy governor of the Bank of Ghana, Matilda Asante-Asiedu, has underscored the need for African countries to expand the use of local currency in trade and financial transactions across the continent.
Speaking at the Africa Prosperity Dialogues on Wednesday, February 4, she said the push for local currency settlements must be led by central banks while safeguarding financial stability and maintaining public confidence. She noted that African economies must take deliberate steps to reduce their dependence on foreign currencies and deepen regional economic integration. Our vision is very clear. Africa must increasingly be settled in African currencies. All the transactions done in Africa through African infrastructure and supported by African institutions, she said. Ms. Asante-Asiedu highlighted Ghana's active participation in the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System, PAPS, which enables cross-border payments using local African currencies. According to her, the system shortens the value chain and significantly reduces the cost of trade across the continent. She further observed that high transaction costs driven by inefficient and fragmented payment systems are stifling the growth of small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, across Africa. She warned that excessive charges disproportionately affect small businesses, women traders, and young entrepreneurs, constraining their ability to scale up, trade across borders, and compete effectively within Africa's emerging single market. Ms. Asante-Asiedu stressed that Africa's economic potential will remain largely untapped unless deliberate efforts are made to dismantle structural barriers within payment systems, noting that inclusive growth cannot be achieved while SMEs remain locked out by high transaction costs.
Now, away from the business desk, we go straight to the international front, where Ryan Roth has been sentenced to life imprisonment for attempting to assassinate the U.S. President Donald Trump on Florida golf course in September 2024.
Routh, 59, was found guilty last year of trying to kill Trump, then still a presidential candidate, at the Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach. A U.S. Secret Service agent in the area spotted a rifle barrel poking out of the bushes and fired at Routh, who then fled the scene. He was arrested nearby. In a sentencing memorandum, Judge Eileen Cannon said Routh's crimes undeniably warrant a life sentence. He took steps over the course of months to assassinate a major presidential candidate, demonstrated the will to kill anybody in the way, and he has since expressed neither regret nor remorse to his victims, she wrote. Routh's lawyer, Martin Ross, said they would be appealing the case. Routh pleaded not guilty and elected to represent himself during the trial, which began on 8 September. A native of North Carolina who lived in Hawaii prior to his arrest, Routh repeatedly acted erratically during the court proceedings, including challenging Trump to a game of golf and making references to Adolf Hitler and Russian President Vladimir Putin. After a jury found him guilty, Routh attempted to stab himself in the neck with a pen before U.S. Marshals quickly escorted him out of the courtroom.
Now we move away from the international front. Let's go to the MBN Weather Center and bring you the weather update brought to you in association with the Ghana Meteorological Agency, the 24-hour impact weather update. Now to the Weather Center, I'll bring you the 24-hour impactful weather in association with the Ghana Meteorological Agency, GMET. Now, in the next 24 hours, varying degrees of temperature will vary. The early hours of the morning will be dominated by misty and fog conditions over the southern Ghana, which will reduce visibility. Mostly sunny conditions will prevail across the country, with the likelihood of a localized thunderstorms or rain over parts of the coast and middle sectors during the afternoon and the evening hours. Slightly hazy conditions will affect parts of the south, while the northern sector remain fairly dry and hazy throughout the forecast period. The minimum temperatures for the various areas of the country: the coast 23 minimum, maximum 34, forest 22 minimum, maximum 35, transition 21 minimum, maximum 36, northern minimum 22 degrees, maximum 38 degrees. And as the latest weather update brought to you in association with the Ghana Meteorological Agency from the MBN Weather Center. The news. In wrapping up this morning's mega news at 6, let's take a second look.
Korle Bu Allied Health Professionals call off strike. In business, Africa must settle trade in local currencies. Second Deputy Bank of Ghana Governor. And on the international front, man sentenced to life in prison for 2024 attempts on Trump's life.
My name is El Samuels. For more news, log on to MBN 360. Up next is a sports update. Don't go away. Stay with us.
MBN, the gospel, news and entertainment.